Frida Kahlo, one of the most celebrated and influential artists of the 20th century, lived a life marked by extraordinary creativity, fierce independence, and unimaginable pain. Her paintings, often deeply personal and surreal, captured not only her physical suffering, but also the emotional struggles that defined her existence. By the time she reached her final days in 1954, at the age of 47, the darkness surrounding her life had become overwhelming. Her tragic end continues to haunt the world because it reflects the raw pain and resilience of a woman who refused to be silenced despite a body that betrayed her in a society that often tried to minimize her voice. Kahlo's suffering began at a young age. At just 6 years old, she contracted polio, which left her with a limp that made her feel isolated. But it was the horrific bus accident at age 18 that would define much of her life. She suffered multiple fractures to her spine, pelvis, and legs, injuries that would plague her for the rest of her years. Surgeries, casts, and endless hospitalizations became part of her identity. While most people might have surrendered to such immense suffering, Kahlo turned to painting as her form of survival. Her art became a mirror of her soul, depicting not just her physical pain, but also her struggles with love, identity, and mortality. Her marriage to Diego Rivera, the famous Mexican muralist, was as passionate as it was turbulent. Their relationship was riddled with infidelity, betrayal, and constant emotional turmoil. Yet despite the heartbreak, Rivera and Kahlo remained connected until her final days. Many of her most haunting works were painted during times of great marital conflict, symbolizing not only her pain, but her deep yearning for love and stability that often eluded her. By the early 1950s, Kahlo's health had deteriorated drastically. The lingering effects of her accident, combined with numerous surgeries and increasing complications, confined her to her bed for long stretches. She lived with excruciating pain daily, often masked by the vibrant colors and bold imagery of her paintings. Still, her spirit pushed her to remain politically active and to express herself through art, even as her body grew weaker. She attended political rallies in a wheelchair, demonstrating her refusal to be defined solely by her illness. In 1953, during her first solo exhibition in Mexico, Kahlo shocked the art world by arriving at the gallery in an ambulance and being carried inside on a bed. For many, this became a defining image of her courage. The artist, who refused to let even physical incapacity prevent her from being present at her own triumph. Yet, this moment of victory was bittersweet, as her health continued to decline rapidly afterward. Her final days in 1954 were shrouded in despair. Her leg had to be amputated due to gangrene, leaving her devastated both physically and emotionally. She wrote in her diary about feeling broken, isolated, and exhausted by a lifetime of suffering. Though she tried to remain strong for those around her, including Rivera, the truth was clear. Her body was giving out, and her spirit was deeply wounded. On July 13, 1954, Frida Kahlo passed away at her home, Casa Azul, under circumstances that some still debate. While her death was officially attributed to a pulmonary embolism, her diary entries and the haunting pain she expressed in her last days left many to believe her passing carried the weight of despair. The haunting legacy of Kahlo's final days lies in the contrast between her vibrant art and her suffering body. Even as she endured unbearable pain, she left behind works that continue to inspire millions around the world. Today, Kahlo is remembered not just as a painter, but as a symbol of resilience, defiance, and the unrelenting human spirit. Her dark final days remind us that behind her colorful canvases was a woman who bore scars both visible and invisible, and whose legacy is all the more powerful because of the suffering she endured.